So in this video, I'm going to give you an introduction to NLP specifically for traders. I'm going to start by giving an overview of NLP, Hypnosis and Meditation, and then we'll talk about the importance of knowing how to manage flow states. A flow state being an optimum state of consciousness in which you perform at your best. So we start with NLP. NLP is a model of applied psychology that started back in 1972. NLP originated from modeling those at the top of their profession and then mapping out the linguistic patterns and then transferring those ways of thinking to others. Now, traditional psychology tends to focus on the problem. They will ask, why? Like, why do you smoke? Or why do you get angry? Why do you make bad decisions? And so forth. If you ask why, then the response is going to be a because, and a because, you know. And these reasons will only serve to reinforce the problem. Now, with NLP, we gather a bit of information about the present state and the personal history, and then we shift across to the desired outcome. And we ask questions like, what do you want, you know? What will the desired outcome look like, sound like, and feel like? When do you want it? Where do you want it? With whom do you want it? So once we've got an idea of what the desired outcome looks like, sounds like, and feels like, then we ask, why? Why do you want the desired outcome? So we map out all the reasons why you want the desired outcome. And this gives us the big reason why. This gets you in touch with the motivation to take action. So once we know what you want, why you want it, then we start asking how. And there are a number of steps to the how. It's like, do you know what to do? Is it self-initiated and maintained? Can you do it? Have you done this before? Do you know the steps and stages? Have you got an action plan? Do you have a way to monitor your progress? Do you have a way to deal with the interferences? Do you have the resources, that is both internal and external resources? And so once you've mapped out the desired outcome, you need to do some checks. You need to check inside and search for reasons why you might not want it. So once you are congruent, you then need to check to see if the desired outcome is compelling. If it is, then you need to make a decision to take action, to do whatever is absolutely necessary in order to achieve the outcome. Because commitment to the outcome is essential. You need to demonstrate that by taking action on a task right away. Okay, so that's just a very quick overview of the NLP well-formed outcome model. Now a few notes on hypnosis. So with hypnosis, we work on the assumption that you've got an unconscious mind. And the unconscious mind is like this storehouse of all your memories. It's responsible for the running of the body. The unconscious mind is like a silent partner that will do anything for you as long as you should just ask in the right manner. But what you need to understand is that all thoughts arise out of the unconscious mind. And that when you talk to yourself, you are having a conversation with your unconscious mind. That means you need to be mindful of the conversations that you have with yourself. And achieving success at the highest level requires you to work closely with your unconscious mind and reprogram yourself for success. That means a willingness to challenge everything that you believe such that you can build new ways of thinking that serve you. Now, the only time I use formal hypnosis is to help people get off of cigarettes, marijuana, alcohol, and to deal with food cravings, binge eating, and weight loss. The rest of the time, I use it informally, you know, just being constantly aware that when I talk to someone, that I'm also talking to their unconscious mind. So now, quick overview of meditation. So the style of meditation that I learned was from Osho. There is no fluffy spiritual beliefs, and I work with the understanding that you are not the mind, not the body or the emotions, but that you are a pure witnessing consciousness. So most of you would have noticed that sometimes the curtain might move in the breeze, And most of the time you would not think about it. You would just notice that the curtain's moving. Now, consciousness is silent. When we think, then we use mind, and we can think in pictures, sounds, feelings, smell, and taste. But the silent witnessing consciousness is the one who is aware of the movement of the curtain in the breeze, the one who is aware of the thoughts. Many problems that people struggle with are because that they're too identified with the mind. So, NLP, hypnosis and meditation. As an NLP coach, what I do is to help you to access and mobilise your inner resources such that you are able to attain your desired outcomes. And I'm not so interested in what you do or what you think as much as just mapping out the structure of how you do what you do. And a session typically starts with me asking the client, what is the problem, if any, and what do you want from this session? Now, sometimes negative emotions get in the way, sometimes negative thoughts, sometimes negative beliefs. Most of this can be traced back to childhood and early adulthood. Okay, so how to achieve success at the highest level? The challenge for traders is how to get into the zone, that is, how to get into a flow state being defined as an optimum state of consciousness in which you perform at your best. The foundations of flow are, number one, you need to know your personality type, that's your genius. Then you need to identify and follow your passion, and then you need to understand what motivates you. That is, you have personality type, passion, and purpose. So let's take a quick look at personality type. To be a good trader, you need a specific type of personality. So we're going to explore 2 dimensions from the Myers-Briggs, and you'll find this fits in well with NLP. So how to get into the zone? Okay, so let's say that you have the right personality type for trading, you're passionate about trading, and you have a big reason why you should trade. So how do you get into the zone? Right, to start with, you need an environment in which you will flourish. The environment needs to be enriched in some way, have novelty, complexity, and unpredictability. And all your senses need to be involved. Like for action adventure athletes who surf massive waves, and that type of stuff, they have all their senses are involved. Otherwise, they will die. The trading environment is not like being out in nature, but you need to get your entire body into the activity. And you have to take a risk, what traders do. But if there is no risk, then you get boredom. Too much risk and you get anxiety. So there needs to be a balance between the challenge and your competency. So you need to set a stretch goal to get your senses alert to help you get you into the zone. Now there are 4 stages to flow. There's struggle, relax and let go, flow, learning, and consolidation. So let me give you some examples. Okay, so Einstein, he'd start working on a problem, and this is like the struggle phase. So you gather information, you push yourself, you get frustrated, but then at some point you have to forget about the problem. You take a walk, a shower, ride a bike, prepare a meal, take a nap. This is the relax and let go phase. And when Einstein got stuck, he just retired to the kitchen and he'd play the fiddle. So in struggle, the brain's in beta. When you take a break and relax, the brain drops down into alpha. And in some cases, you'll get bursts of theta, which is associated with creativity and the aha experience. And then you drop into flow. Now in flow, the critical voice just disappears. Time goes away and you're plunged into the eternal now. And the sense of self that's associated with the language center of the left hemisphere, it's quietened down. And the sense of self that's associated with the right hemisphere becomes more present. And this is why flow states can take on a mystical quality. As a trader, you learn about fundamentals and analytics. You learn how to use the software, how to read the charts, and you practice, and you practice. You learn to follow a set of trading rules, you gain competency, and with time, you learn to get into a flow state. So flow starts by setting an intention. The attention drives your attention onto a task such that you can focus in and concentrate. Now, the intention may be set days before or the night before. Now, if you've been lying awake at night thinking about another project, then this is what will occupy your mind the next day. So to get into a flow state, you need clarity of purpose with no thoughts of anything else. So what stops you from getting into a flow state? It's the wrong environment, interruptions, thinking of other things, rushing in, fear of missing out, the need to be right, being cocky, negative beliefs, negative emotions, negative thoughts, and an overactive mind. Sometimes driven by need to make money and also greed, So that just covers about most of the obstacles to flow. Now, what are the attributes of star traders? So the star traders, they're in an environment in which they can flourish. They've got knowledge and skill. They create a set of rules and they follow the rules without exception. They trust in self. They have belief in self. There's more peace, calmness, patience, and discipline. And they wait patiently for the right trade. And at the right moment, they act without hesitation and they commit to the trade. And they have a congruence between what they say and what they actually do. Now, in terms of personality types, a trader needs to be good with timing. They need to be sensory-based, good with systems and analysis, and they need to be willing to take the time to reflect and gather enough information so that when they take action, there's a high probability that they will actually succeed. And a trader needs to be willing to create a set of rules that work. That's a system. And then follow that system with a meticulous eye for details. They also need to use both hemispheres of the brain. And when people become too left brain dominant, they literally can miss information. You might have noticed, but sometimes a few minutes after entering a trade, you kick yourself for missing a bit of information. By practicing like peripheral sensing and meditation, one can learn how to use both left and right hemispheres. And the interesting thing about trust is that it's a sense of self that's associated with the language center in the left hemisphere that gets in the way. It needs to let go. It's need to dominate and trust in the silent sense of self of the right hemisphere. And that's where meditation comes in, because meditation helps you to become a dispassionate observer to this process so that you can actually achieve balance. Now, trading's much like surfing. You need knowledge and skill. Then you need to know when to get to the beach. You need to be on the right beach, because different surf conditions will suit different types of surfers, in terms of their personality type, their skill, their competency, challenge and style. Then you need to be patient and wait for the right time to enter the water. Then you need to paddle out into the lineup. Then you need to wait for a set and know which wave to catch. You have to know how long you can ride the wave, when to get off, and you need an exit strategy in case of an emergency. Then you need to know when you've had enough and when it's time to paddle back to shore. Then you need to take the time to reflect upon the experience, extract the learnings, and future pace your learnings into the next surf session. In addition, you need to understand state control. That is, you need to know how to get into the zone. As I said before, the zone being a flow state. A flow state is an optimal state of consciousness in which you perform at your best. But it's impossible to be in a flow state all of the time. Now, there are 4 stages to flow. The first stage is struggle. So you set a stretch goal that's reasonable, that has just enough risk to keep you alert, but not so much risk that you feel anxious. And by the way, it's not unusual for adventure sport athletes to use a throwaway move to get into the flow. So the surfer might catch a few waves in the shore break before actually paddling out into the lineup. And as I said before, it's important to learn how to recognize the 4 stages of flow. So the first stage is struggle. This is where you gather information, you learn about the market, you learn how to use computer programs and stuff like that. You practice doing dummy trades, and at some point you make a decision to take action. At first this could be a real struggle, but at some point you relax. You have to relax and let go. And then you find yourself in flow. In flow, the critical voice disappears, past and future disappear, and you're plunged into the eternal now. At some point, the activity finishes, and you reflect back upon what you did. Now, to finish this intro to NLP coaching, I'd just like to give you an example of some language patterns, because it's the thoughts that you hold in mind and the words that you use will determine your level of success. Now, if you can't say the words, then you won't get it. For example, if you want a cup of tea, but all you can say is, "I am thirsty," then possibly someone who hears you might offer you a drink, but they might give you a glass of water. You need to use the exact words which specify your desired outcome. In addition, the words need to be in an arrangement that works for you. For example, if you think, "I want to stop smoking cigarettes, but I get stressed," the "but" negates what went before. So if you bring awareness to the frame of mind, the belief, the sentence structure, and you reverse the clauses and you say, "I get stressed, but I want to stop smoking cigarettes," then you feel it. It directionalizes your brain to take action to stop smoking. So if we take the pattern, "I know I should follow the trading rules, but I end up jumping in too soon," and we reverse it. "In the past, I have jumped in too soon, but I know that I can follow the trading rules." We can take this a step further, because oftentimes people know what they should do, but they don't follow through. It's like they don't walk the talk. People refer to this as self-sabotage. So one way to deal with this is to take the concept in mind and you muscle it into the body. So we start by talking out loud our understanding of the rules of trading, and we say something to the effect, "In the past, I've jumped in too soon, but I have a good understanding of the rules of trading, and because I understand the rules of trading, I believe that not only can I learn to follow the rules of trading, but I believe that I must. And so from this day forth, I have decided that I will follow the rules of trading because it feels right to do so. And I'm going to demonstrate that in my next trade." So language patterns like that will instruct the unconscious mind to get you to perform at a much higher level. Now, as I said before, my job as an NLP coach is to help you to get out of your own way, to help you to access and mobilise your inner resources such that you're able to achieve your desired outcomes. I'm based on the Gold Coast of Eastern Australia. If you're interested in booking a session, then please visit my website and use the contact form to send me an email. If you want to talk with me, before you book a session, then feel free to phone or you can Skype me. The contact details are in the comment section below the video, and I look forward to meeting you.